Hey friends, welcome to another Cascade Crochet video. I know it has been a while. That's mainly because I've been working on this new pattern that has been absolutely consuming my mind, and also because I've been doing a lot of streaming. So you can catch me on Twitch at Cascade Crochet. I do a lot of streams where I do crochet, so I'll work on new patterns, offer help and advice to beginners, or even to people who kind of know what they're doing but need a little help with something. And I also play some video games, so tune in for whatever content tickles your fancy, I guess. So I've got 3 more videos that I wanted to do in this series. So I don't have them in order written down in my handy dandy notebook. So the first one I wanted to go through was the idea of setting your feet and pushing forward. So basically being stubborn and pushing through a roadblock. So to me, this has meant if I've gotten stuck on a design, so I might be part of the way through and I kind of lose my passion for it, or I'm trying to do something and it's just not working and I'm just getting really, really discouraged. Basically, these are the times where you have to really look at your goals, and your goal might be that you're designing or doing something so that you can turn your passion into a side hustle. So you really need to be able to look back to go forward, which might sound a little silly. So what I mean by that is basically you look back on your objectives. So it might be to design this great shawl design that you've got in mind, or design this great blanket, or design whatever it is, or to do whatever project. It might, your main goal might be to, do the side hustle. Your main goal might be to have another income stream. You really need to look backwards at what that goal is and then use that to push yourself through the roadblock. So if your pattern's not quite working, that might mean, I guess, sort of frogging back to the point where it did work, and then trying to sketch out a few different ideas of ways that it could go. So you might want to, for example, do some textured stitches in the next section, and you keep trying and you keep trying, and the textured stitch just isn't working, the one that you've really got your mind set on. So maybe it's a bubble stitch, for an example, and you keep looking at it and you're just like, this isn't working. So maybe you need to go back into the other textured stitches that you know that you like. So it might be a front post double crochet. It might be, doing something like a waffle kind of pattern. It might be doing something interesting that implies texture. So a series of shell stitches or fan stitches or things like that. So you basically have to, I guess, reassess your mindset and try and think of ways to work around your roadblock. And that's not saying that the design that you had in mind wasn't fantastic, because I'm sure that it was. It might just be that particular area that you want designed, it might work better in another pattern further down the road. It might work better further on in this same pattern. So, don't discard it. Just put it to the side and try and work around it. So basically, just trying to push forward through the roadblocks. So we've got 2 ways that you can do it. So it's basically looking back at your goals to give you that push, or looking at some alternative ways that you can create your design. So, and as I said, that doesn't mean discarding the idea that you had. It might just mean putting it to the side and then implementing it later on in the design. Another way is that sometimes you just get so frustrated, you really do need a break. So how we've talked about sanity saver projects or getting another hobby, it might be time to sort of crack out that, get a bit of your frustration out, and then go, okay, then when you've calmed down, when you've relaxed, when your mind is sort of back focused again, coming back to your pattern. So those are my 3 main tips for basically just really trying to push forward through the challenges that you have. And honestly, it's going to happen. I can almost guarantee it. And it's something that you probably need to have a little bit of a think about as you're starting your pattern or your project or whatever it is that you're doing. Because sometimes you will reach a point where you're just like, if I have to look at this for like 1 more second, I think I'm just going to scream. So you need to have those strategies in place on how you're going to cope with the stress of feeling like you don't want to work on that project anymore. And it could be that it's like the right project but the wrong time. So it might be something that you look at and you're just like, I don't know what to do with it at this point. And that might be the time where you go, okay, you know what? I had an idea for something else. Maybe I'll just start up that and do a little bit of the new project and then come back to this project in a little bit of time. So that's not giving up, and that's not giving in. Basically, that's more of a matter of saying, okay, I've reached a point in my mind where I can't envision what the next stitches are. You know, I've tried a few things and it's just not working for me. So, you know, you can always start a new pattern. You're allowed to have multiple patterns on the design at the same time, just as you're allowed to have multiple projects on the go at the same time. So that's another way that you can really sort of work past it. So in your sketchbook, the one that I mentioned like way back, I think in one of the first episodes, you know, you will have drawn out like a series of, you know, shapes or inspirational pictures. So like animals or trees or whatever it is that inspires you. It could be buildings, cityscapes, anything like that. You know, you could have drawn out all these things and inspire you, and you've just picked one. But then, you know, if you're continuing to add to that journal or to that notebook, you'll always have a fresh source of ideas going forward. Anyway, so that's it for today. Basically just, you know, looking back at why you wanted to do this in the first place, sort of looking at different ways that you can work around the issue that you have. So trying different stitches and putting the idea you had in mind aside for later on. Picking up a different project just to blow off a little steam and to, I guess, get your mindset back in the right place, or even putting it to the side for the minute and starting a new project. So those are all ways that I have like sort of worked through the points where I've gotten to in my projects, and I've just literally wanted to throw them across the room. So as yet, none of my designs have been thrown across the room unless they're completed and it's throwing it across the room to someone to have a look at. Anyway, so to finish off today, I have a bit of a gloss on. And so it's a Tarte H2O gloss. The color is really beautiful. And like I can feel the sort of liquid, like the cap kind of looks like it's got condensation on it. Some people might really love this, and I really adore the color. But to me, it feels incredibly tacky, like you've, you know, melted a hard lolly in the sun and then rubbed that across your lips. So not one of my favorites, but I thought, you know, I'd bring it out to show you guys just how it goes, and you know, some of you might really like it. So if you like it, it's a Tarte H2O gloss. Anyway, so that's enough for me, and I'm gonna reset, re-lip, re-headband, and get to the second to last video in this series, and then we get to start a new series. There's always more coming. All right, thank you so much for tuning in. Mwah. Love you so much. All right, bye.